Social Security Administration has announced the cost of living adjustment for 2024.
This is an adjustment made annually to keep benefits on pace with the rate of inflation. The average monthly Social Security check for retired workers will rise 3.2% beginning in January. Now, this is significantly smaller than the 8.7% increase seen at the start of this year.
It amounts to an increase of about $50 per month, boosting the typical monthly payment to just over $1,900. Mark Miller joins us now. He's a contributor for the New York Times. He covers retirement and aging, and he's also the author of the book Retirement Reboot: Common Sense Financial Strategies for Getting Back on Track. Thanks for joining us, Mark. So talk to us about what kind of retirees are most dependent upon Social Security checks for their savings, and does this cost of living adjustment meet those needs?
Sure. Thanks for inviting me. So we're talking about an adjustment, the COLA adjustment, that'll go to more than 71 million Americans starting in December and January. It goes to retirees, of course, the largest population, but also people who receive disability benefits and also supplemental security income, or SSI, which is the program for low-income beneficiaries. And one note about the increase of the 3.2% increase, as you noted, it translates to about $50 a month for the average beneficiary. The actual net dollar amount of the increase we'll know sometime soon for people who are on Medicare, who typically have their Medicare premium deducted from Social Security. So there'll be an adjustment to that 3.2%. And, the COLA is calculated to reflect what's going on with just general inflation in the economy. So we had really large increases this year, 8.7 this year, 5.9 the year before. And with inflation cooling off, that is the reason why it's fallen some. And so that's really the essence of what happens here. And, inflation affects different people differently. For seniors, of course, the rising cost of healthcare is a big factor, and housing also, especially renters, because we've seen big increases in rents in the last few years.
So, Mark, what recommendations or advice do you have for people that are trying to protect their retirement savings?
Right. So the number one thing I think is to think carefully about claiming the timing of your claim of Social Security. As probably a lot of viewers know, you receive more in monthly and annual benefits by delaying your claim past the point when you initially become eligible for a retirement benefit, which is 62. And so most experts advise delaying that as a way to increase monthly amounts. And then the COLAs are larger than in a dollar amount sense when they're calculated against that. So delaying Social Security can be a really important strategy. It's not something that's going to work for everyone, but I always like to suggest it as something worth thinking about. The other thing is that for people who do have retirement savings and retirement portfolios, it's important to keep some amount of stocks or equities in those portfolios, even in retirement, because it can help you keep up. And then, you can also look at things like inflation-adjusted bonds, or so-called TIPS, which are government-sponsored treasuries that are adjusted for inflation. And the last thing to mention quickly is that most retirees are homeowners. And so the extent you have equity built up in your home, and if you're having trouble meeting expenses, tapping that home equity can be a strategy that can be done either through downsizing or some other methods.
Yeah.
And always remember, if you are younger and still far away from retirement, it is going to sneak up on you. It's important to invest now. Compound interest is real. Mark Miller, thank you.
I wish I started earlier.
Thank you so much.